Hello, I'm having a good time having to discuss the very many things that we can do this year to own our pleasure. In case you're new here, my name is Doreen Niramugisha. I'm a holistic sexologist, and I have such a passion for ensuring that we can build, or rather, we can bridge the orgasm gap, that women and men can tap into pleasure as part of their sexual well being, their sexual wellness, and that sexual wellness is a basic need. As we desire other forms of wellness, mental, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, we need to be able to desire to own our sexual wellness. So I'm looking at the women. I have given you 3 ways in which you can own your pleasure, and it's fundamental because the more you own your pleasure, the more you're able to feel, and our goal is to experience sexual satisfaction, really. So this particular podcast, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do this year to be able to own your pleasure. Okay, so there's nothing I know that shapes our sense of self, but also is a part of owning a self, as much as the capacity to desire, the capacity to want, the capacity to hunger, the capacity to crave, the capacity to, eroticism is what I'm talking about, right? If you can be able to own your eroticism this year, if you can be able to build your capacity to desire or your erotic sense so that you can be able to build on more desire. I say this because I work with women, and women tell me, Doreen, my desire is low, my libido is low. Those two are different, but I don't feel like I desire sex. What can I do? There's so many of those stories. Now, culturally, we are experiencing a block as women that we need to heal together this year, especially, right? And this is the block. Our capacity to desire, to lust, has been, not capacity, even our lust, our innate lust has been for a long time, and into the 21st century, by the way, has been shamed. It's been called too much and therefore too dangerous. It's been seen as sinful for a woman to desire, for a woman to express her sexuality, for a woman to hunger and crave and say, I crave you. It doesn't come easy. Those things are easy to read. We've read romance books, but I kid you not, I have lots of clients who come and tell me, Doreen, I can say these things, and then when it comes to the moment, I'm not able to verbalize them. Our voice has been affected. We can't even talk. We fawn. We people please. We quickly get to think about other people's needs and then forget our needs. Quickly, we are just hijacked. I use the word hijacked because surely I want to express, then you come around and I can't express, So if we don't really look at the conditioning, if we don't look at the magnitude of the fact that we have discomfort around expressing, around understanding our own eroticism, it's going to continue just being something that we read about in the books, we hear in songs, but not something that we experience. So one of the things that you can do for yourself this year is to increase your sex drive and own your desirability. What do I mean? Most of the times, we are thinking or always thinking about what people think about us. And there's nothing wrong with that. I wore this hair so that I can feel good, but also look good. I wear the clothes that I wear so that I can feel good, but also look good. But remember, I said feel good first. Most of us have been conditioned to think about, what do they see? How do I look like? Will they like me? Will they take me? So this has led us to being codependent in relationships. Now, let me bring it to sex. Now, most women who have not healed or are not consciously thinking about these blocks become anxiously attached or avoidantly attached. Now, if you're anxiously attached, many times when you're coming into a social engagement, let's say to be with your lover, you get to think so much about his needs. You get to think about his sexual needs, his satisfaction. You get to hear, you're open to hearing his lust, his fantasies. You're so open to all this, and you create space, you hold space for his desires. You're so good at tending to his needs, to hearing his needs. Your energy, or you dispense so much energy trying to ensure that he thinks of you as a good girl. But remember, or not remember, the truth is, as long as you don't point the arrows towards yourself and take the energy back towards yourself, so that you can be able to ask yourself, what do I need? What do I desire? What do I hunger for? What do I crave? And giving them a voice, it becomes difficult for you to experience sexual satisfaction. So most anxiously attached women constantly tell me they're not experiencing sexual satisfaction, but on the outside they're so empathetic. They are called a good girl. Oh, she's so nice, you should see her. She nails for her husband, she cooks for him, she serves him, she's always calling him, she's always making sure that she takes care of the kids so that they don't make noise for him. On the outside, you are so strong, so responsible, so enduring, you're giving, you're like a martyr. But when you come to me, or when we go for retreats where you can be vulnerable, you break down, cry, saying that my husband doesn't even know how to tend to my emotions. He doesn't validate me. He doesn't listen when I'm expressing my emotions. He's always emotionally, he's always just giving me excuses and reasons why he couldn't do 1, 2, 3, 4 things, but he doesn't care how I feel. You're breaking down. And you know why you're doing that? Because we have never allowed ourselves to feel the discomfort and the comfort of feeling or expressing our needs. Now, let me show you how. For most women who are codependent or anxiously attached, we would rather put up with the discomfort of not voicing our needs than the discomfort of voicing them and not having them met. So we have a lot of rejection sensitivity. We are too sensitive to rejection. We do not allow ourselves to feel that pain so that we don't repeat it, right? And that means we will constantly be taking care of other people's needs. That makes us terrible at receiving him when it comes to a sexual moment. So when we're going to make love, you are just anxious and all that. So women ask me, what makes it easy for Ugandan women to experience sexual pleasure, especially the squatting orgasm? And I keep telling them they are good at surrendering. Let me tell you, to be able to surrender, you have to be able to go into your body. And that means you need to be able to be good at needing, at craving, at wanting, at desiring, at drawing boundaries, at being able to express these things, so that when you get into your body, you're out of your head, or you're off your head, and you can be able to sense what's internal and what's external and aligning them. Let me tell you what I mean, right? I remember before I got married, I had a lot of sex drive. Then I get married and then I give birth. I gave birth during pregnancy. I had a lot of sex drive. So I give birth and it disappeared. I think I've talked about this a couple of times. My libido went out, sex drive went out. My partner would touch me and I'm thinking it's a wooden piece that's touching me. It was more irritating than sensational. I lost it. So when I went to the hospital, when we were taking our baby for one of the visits, I told the guy, and I told him, look, I don't feel him anymore. What's going on? So the guy told me, no, punguza stress. Like, just reduce your stress. Do you know how frustrating that is when you have such a huge problem and somebody gives you such a very small answer, like reduce stress? What do you mean? I have an amazing baby. I'm happy. I'm a mother. My partner is supportive. He's there. But I am not. I don't have the drive and all that. I think our capacity to need, to want, and then because that has been suffocated, also we are not represented when it comes to spaces like legislation, medicine, in different spaces. So our lust, our eroticism, our desire is just, not thought of as deeply as men's desire. Men's desire has been valued. it has been, like celebrated. And if it should go down a little bit, the children, the woman, so everybody will come in to support it. But for women, even when you go to your own doctor, it's sort of like it's dealt with at surface level. I had to go in now. Let me tell you how I brought my game back to receiving. Because, when you don't have desire, it's not easy to get into the mood. It's not easy to build up, to build up a rhythm. So I would get in, I will be wanting to make love to my partner. And those moments you're not initiating. He's initiating and you're praying that he doesn't. So for what most women do is they get so busy in the sitting room or in the kitchen. They hold the baby and they can't let go of the baby. They are hoping that nobody touches their bodies, And then they say, I'm so tired. Can't you see it's just the new norm of me being a mom, your wife, and then, I'm working and all that. To be honest with you, when the sex drive or the eros is flowing in us, it doesn't matter how many things are on the table. We will be able to desire our partners and mostly have energy to do these other things. Because that's the thing, when you experience good sexual, a good libido, or when you have eros flowing through you, you actually get more energy to do other things. That things feel light. They don't feel as cumbersome and heavy as they are. So I would it would come to time for making love, and I'm so scared. So I had to work backwards, and I had to determine really, how am I desiring? What am I desiring right now? And I developed what I call embodied intuition. I needed to learn how to get out of my head. I needed to get out of my head because I'm now busy thinking about the child. I am attuned to him because there's that connection between a baby and a mother. I'm so attuned to him, whether he cracks, moves a bit, and all that. So even if I'm making love, I'm attuned to him. I'm attuned to the nanny in the house, to my partner, to myself. And I needed to get out of my head, because when you get out of your head, you get into your intuitive space. When you can get into your body, you start sensing and feeling at a multidimensional level. Meaning, when you can learn to get out of your head, you access your intuition. And when you access your intuition, you access your spiritual energy, which is your sex energy. And that makes it so easy now for you to start feeling, being sensual. But I needed to work from outwards, coming inwards. Let me tell you, for me to be able to get into surrendering again, I would tell myself, if my partner touches me, I would say, I want. And then I would tell myself, I want to ask myself, how do you feel? So I needed to connect with my sensations. So the moment he would touch me, I would say, I want, close my eyes, and then I would use the breath to connect with my body. So I mastered the Ugandan art of breathing. In Uganda, among the Baganda, there's what we call oxykina, like breathing your way into it. Following the breath, how it goes, using words, then losing the words and getting into the breath. So basically, for you to properly sikina, you need to be able to say, I want you, I feel. Then I need to be able to be honest, as opposed to being bookish of, I feel sexy, I feel so good, oh, that's so good, or do that to me, daddy. I needed to get away from that and really be honest with, how do you feel? So that means I needed to get good at mentioning or naming sexual emotions, because when I name, then I can connect with a sensation. And when I can connect with a sensation, it gets me lost. See the plot? Great. So for sikina to be effective, you need to be able to close your eyes, then say what you want, like desire, right? And then say what you're feeling. When you say it, feel it. That's sensation. An emotion is different from a sensation. So when I feel it, now I connect to the breath of, now I can feel it. So I just learn how to use the breath. So I have started talking and I'm saying, then I connect to the breath, where I know I'm breathing through the nose and breathing out through the mouth to the count that is longer than breathing in. So in the beginning, it sounds technical, but then once you master it, the body masters it as well. So it would have to be that I have said I want, and then I am able to say, oh, that feels so good. Then I expand what feels so good. That makes me feel this. I want more of that. And then when I say that feels so good, I ask myself, what is feeling so good? When you touch my nipples, when you stimulate my nipples, I don't want you to stop, So I am connecting with where that feels good. and wanting more of that, and then going into the feeling of. Because when you feel, the body wants to expand. The body wants to expand what you're feeling, the sensation. So if I feel that I'll be like, so my breath will go based on the sensation. But I needed to get this one trick. Because we've been dysregulated for long, we've also lost out on the art of breathing. Because humans used to breathe out longer than they breathed in. But now we are a society that breathes in. That's anxious breathing. You need to be able to know that if I can breathe in 3 times slowly, I'll breathe out 4 times slowly. Breathe in 3 times slowly, breathe out 4 times slowly until the count of 5. And then that way I settle into my body, right? So if I breathe in, that allows me to settle into my body. So I stop thinking about what I look like. I get away from my desirability being externally sourced. I get out of my head wondering, does he like me? Does he think of this? I go into my own desirability because it is connected to me desiring, wanting, craving, and saying it and needing and verbalizing it and then experiencing it in my body and allowing my body to sit longer. That's when you get into a surrendered state. That's when you become better at receiving, because you can't receive when you've not received yourself. You have to first receive yourself. Then receiving becomes so easy. And now, most of us think that for you to be able to be lustful, for you to be able to be desirable, you have to wear certain makeup, you have to be able to wear certain hair. Those things don't keep the man. When your desirability is internally sourced, there's a way in which you are in tune with your intuition, so it makes you experience more spiritual sex with your partner, and that is what makes you magnetic and irresistible. But when you don't know how to get into your body and intuit, because for you to get into your intuitive state, it has to be that you have experienced all the other senses. So if I go into my capacity to feel, how do I feel? What do I smell? And I say it. What do I hear? And how are they hitting me? And what are the sensations in my body? And can I be able to describe those ones? That's called body wisdom, right? Your body starts giving you sensations and more of them, right? And those sensations take you to a multi-level sensational space, which is called the intuitional space. So embodied intuition is when you can be able to get into your body so that you can sense your surroundings and combine what you get from your surroundings with what you're feeling on the inside. And that way you become, we say intuition is multifaceted. Like when you tap into your intuition, you're able to see in more places than one. So even when your eyes are closed, you can see him, what he's touching, feel him and all that. So you go out from the need to reciprocate, like, oh, he touches me, I touch that. You have to be tuned, he touches this, that keeps you on the outside. But when you get intuitive, your intuitive state takes you into a level where you can see him, feel him, hear him, and yet see yourself, feel yourself, and hear yourself. For this year, learn 3 things. 1, to be able to build internal desirability, really, we have to start from where it broke down. We do not know how to validate ourselves. So we are always expecting, or rather relying on others to validate us. I think your vagina is so good. I think your vagina is this. I don't want you to think before I can feel. I need to be able to know that my vagina is so good, So we need to go from the place where we depended so much on external validation. It comes so easy for most women. It comes so easy for anxiously attached women. They're always wondering, hypervigilant, does he like me? Does he not like me? Oh my God, he's cheating on me. It must be my fault. Oh my God, he's cheating on me. It must be I have a wide vagina. We're always bashing ourselves and only waiting for external validation. So it becomes honestly so hard for anybody to make you happy, because who can do that really? In the morning tell you, honey, you're so beautiful. I know today you're going to kill it. And in the afternoon they send you a message, I think you're so brilliant, you're going to be the best in that boardroom. And then in the evening is going to tell you, I think you're very careful, you're going to drive well at home. That's too much work really. How about you did some of that for yourself? But you can't do that unless you've gone down and broken down all the ways in which you've been told who you are. so that you can first find out who you really are authentically before the world told you who you are. What I mean is that from when you were young, the different churches we went to told us we have values based on the churches we went to, schools we went to, homes we grew up in, the cultures we belong to, and that's not bad, right? But I said that that is usually supposed to be like structural values. Your core values or foundational values should be innate, they should be authentic. And until you break down the other structures first, you won't be able to access this. Because when you can access your values, then you can place need to them. Like, I value this, so I need this. I meet many women and I ask them, so you want a relationship? Why do you think you want a relationship? Many people can't describe, why do I want a relationship right now? You know, they get into relationships because of the traditional expectation of you go to school, finish school, find a good man, marry him, give birth to children, find a good job, you know, and they do not even know why they need a relationship. But when we really get down to it, when you know your values, you will say, so I need a relationship where I can feel seen. I need a relationship where I can feel supported. I need a relationship where my needs matter. But what are your needs? I need physical touch. I need emotional intimacy. I need a relationship where I can talk to somebody. They can see my thoughts. They can validate me. They can, you know, understand me. But maybe that's not what you need. Another person, if they dig deep, they'll find that I need a relationship where I can intellectually be stimulated. So I need somebody who stimulates my brains, you know, who can just talk to me and I get an orgasm. Or basically somebody who I can share ideas with, because, you know, ideas stimulate me, and when I'm stimulated, I feel good. You know, I need really to be in a relationship where I can feel, you know, before we can say I need a relationship where I can have children and I look like a good woman. So you need to be able to get down to your values so that you can know what you need. Because once you know what you need, you're going to learn to draw boundaries around them. When I'm taking clients through that phase, I ask them to give me different types of needs, especially their sexual needs, you know, like their emotional needs, what their intimacy needs are. And then I ask them, what are your negotiables and what are your non-negotiables? Once you don't know that, you shouldn't step into any relationship, because that way you're going to continue being breadcrumbed. You just take anything that is provided for you, that is given to you, because you don't know what should be better or what should be more, right? So the capacity to need is part of what makes for a strong self. And you should need it. Should you want to delve more into that? Should you want to work with me and break down societal expectations of what women should need, should want, break down the walls that bind you and expose more of your authentic self so that we can really understand what you desire, you know, what you want, what you need, what you crave, what makes you hungry, so that you stop, you know, like you know, you can be the adult, the adult parent, your inner child. Your inner child is always going to make you hunger, crave, desire, but because you've not understood her language internally, you're not able to parent her and give her boundaries, because parenting is when you can now set boundaries. So when we talk about boundaries, really, it's not easy unless you've understood what your values are, unless you have healed societal the woundings around our desire, our capacity to lust, our capacity to hunger, to crave, and then given it a language, you know. When I got into that, it stopped being such a hard time for me to think that I can get sexual satisfaction. And this is the other thing that I used. I told myself, because I didn't have a proper language on really how to get embodied intuitively, I used selfishness. I said, I'm so good at serving, at giving. Sexually, I'm going to first learn how to be selfish. And you get to realize that actually being selfish allows you to surrender. It allows you to receive, because a man wants to feel like he's giving, and what he's giving is being received, you know. So he wants to see it in your embodied expression of his touch, of his thrusts, because the more you express your, you know, your receiving, the more erotic you feel and look for him, right? So becoming selfish helps you to actually get lost into your body. And it does not make you actually look selfish on the outside. It's just permission to get out of your head. I found that. So I told myself I'm going to be selfish first. I'm going to receive, and I'm going to say before he can penetrate me, I need to experience 2 orgasms. That was an unsaid boundary to myself. I would say I'm going to express my sexual art in a way that I can experience 2 orgasms before this penetrative orgasm, because I'm 42 years old, and the men that are in our age bracket have also a mother wound where they're conditioned and their nervous system takes them into performance and penetration. So some of them we have to keep on taking them back off, but fast the nipple, fast the squatting, fast the squatting. So I had to be patient with him, knowing that it's not intentional for him to want to penetrate. It is that his body pushes him straight into that, so it would have to be with me that until it's 2 orgasms, we don't get to experience the vaginal orgasms. And that helped me. It had to come into how I received. I'll tell you more on that when I tell you, when I start talking to you about femininity and how to, really heal the feminine aspect in us so we can use it to heal ourselves towards squatting. I hope you enjoyed that one. I've enjoyed it more. Please tell me if you want more of these episodes where you feel you have a need, where you feel your body struggles most. Do you struggle to lust? Do you struggle to desire? Do you struggle to identify your values? Do you struggle to need? Do you struggle to be able to sit with the discomfort of expressing your needs? Do you struggle with rejection sensitivity? I'm here for that, and I'm here for you. I need that. If I can heal you, you heal as many African women as we need to heal, because from this whole year, I have known that there's a hunger for sexual wellness and sexual freedom and sexual pleasure for women on the African continent. So tell me more about what your needs will be like, or what you want me to talk about more when it comes to desire, desirability, needing, and wanting in the comment section. Otherwise, calling in for more subscribers, more likes. This is Heal with Doreen.